What if the way you eat is slowly destroying your pancreas? What if proper chewing could be more powerful than medication? What if the timing of your meals matters as much as what you eat? There is an English proverb, "Do not dig your grave with your knife and fork." Peter Malamud, Ph.D., along with his son Felix Malamud, spent decades studying how food either heals or harms the pancreas. Their book, Healthy Pancreas, Healthy You Part 2, reveals something revolutionary. You can naturally increase pancreatic function and relieve digestive and metabolic disorders through healing foods. This is not another restrictive diet. This is a practical guide showing exactly what to eat, when to eat it, and how to eat it to support the most overlooked organ in your body. Almost 50% of people suffer from gas, bloating, heartburn, abdominal pain, diarrhea, or constipation. All of these are symptoms of diminished pancreatic function. The question is, will you continue harming your pancreas with every meal, or will you start healing it today? The 4 pillars of pancreatic healing through food. Part 2 presents 4 interconnected principles that work together to restore pancreatic health. First, supply your body with natural digestive enzymes from food by using raw, natural foods. Slow cooking in a thermos, sprouting, blending, juicing, and proper chewing. Second, strengthen the pancreas and whole body with the right ratio of minerals, vitamins, essential amino acids, and essential fatty acids. Third, keep proper acid-alkaline balance because the pancreas and liver are alkaline glands that cannot function in acidic environments. Fourth, maintain proper ecology inside the gastrointestinal tract. These 4 pillars are equally important and deeply interrelated. Focusing on one while ignoring others will produce disappointing results. But addressing all 4 simultaneously creates a synergistic healing effect that can reverse even chronic pancreatic dysfunction. Millions of people eat healthy diets, but their bodies do not properly utilize the nutrients because their pancreas is not functioning correctly. Some individuals can be overweight, yet their bodies have severe malnutrition. The problem is not what they eat. The problem is that their pancreas cannot produce adequate enzymes to break down and absorb the nutrition from their food. A woman named Helen ate organic vegetables, grass-fed meat, and whole grains. She avoided processed foods and sugar. Yet she struggled with chronic fatigue, unexplained weight gain, and persistent digestive issues. Blood tests revealed severe vitamin B12 deficiency, low iron, and vitamin D deficiency, despite consuming foods rich in these nutrients. Her doctor was confused. How could someone eating such a healthy diet be so malnourished? The answer was her pancreas. Years of stress, antibiotic use, and metabolic acidosis had weakened her pancreatic enzyme production to the point where she could no longer absorb nutrients from food. She was literally starving despite eating well. When she implemented the 4-pillar approach from Part 2, her digestion transformed within weeks. Her energy returned, her weight normalized, and repeat blood tests showed her nutrient levels rising into healthy ranges. The natural enzyme revolution and why raw matters. Your body has 2 sources of digestive enzymes, those produced by your pancreas and those naturally present in raw foods. When you eat cooked foods exclusively, your pancreas must produce all enzymes needed for digestion. This places enormous stress on the organ, particularly if pancreatic function is already compromised. Raw foods contain their own enzymes that begin breaking down nutrients the moment you chew them. This is called predigestion, and it dramatically reduces the workload on your pancreas. Dr. Edward Howell, a pioneer in enzyme research, spent decades studying how enzyme-rich foods affect digestion and health. His work demonstrated that diets lacking in raw foods force the pancreas to work overtime, leading to premature enzyme depletion and organ exhaustion. He documented that populations consuming traditional diets rich in fermented and raw foods have significantly lower rates of pancreatic disease compared to populations eating predominantly cooked, processed foods. The book recommends supplying natural digestive enzymes through raw natural foods. Slow cooking in a thermos, sprouting, blending, juicing, and proper chewing. Each method preserves or enhances enzyme content in different ways. Slow cooking in a thermos uses gentle heat that does not destroy enzymes the way high-temperature cooking does. Sprouting activates dormant enzymes in seeds, nuts, and grains, multiplying their enzyme content many times over. Blending breaks down cell walls, making enzymes more accessible. Juicing concentrates enzymes and nutrients while removing fiber that can be difficult to digest when pancreatic function is weak. Most importantly, proper chewing is the first step in enzyme activation. Saliva contains amylase, an enzyme that begins breaking down carbohydrates in your mouth. When you chew thoroughly, you mix food with saliva and mechanically break down food particles, reducing the burden on your stomach and pancreas. A man named Richard had suffered from bloating and indigestion for years. He ate quickly, barely chewing, rushing through meals while working at his computer. His naturopathic doctor suggested a simple experiment: chew each bite 30 times before swallowing. Richard thought this was ridiculous and would make meals take forever. But he committed to trying it for 2 weeks. The results shocked him. His bloating disappeared almost immediately. He felt satisfied eating smaller portions because he actually tasted his food and his body had time to register fullness. His energy after meals improved dramatically because his food was pre-digested through chewing before reaching his already weakened pancreas. This simple change, costing nothing and requiring no supplements, transformed his digestion. Proper chewing had given his pancreas the break it desperately needed. The mineral vitamin, essential amino acid, and fatty acid foundation. The second pillar focuses on strengthening the pancreas and whole body with the right ratio of minerals, vitamins, essential amino acids, and essential fatty acids. The pancreas requires specific nutrients to produce enzymes, maintain cellular structure, and protect against oxidative damage. Zinc is essential for enzyme synthesis. Magnesium activates over 300 enzymatic reactions, including those in the pancreas. B vitamins, particularly B1, B2, B3, B5, and B6, are cofactors for energy production and enzyme function. Essential fatty acids from omega-3 sources reduce inflammation and support cell membrane integrity. Essential amino acids provide the building blocks for enzyme production. Dr. Roger Williams, the biochemist who discovered pantothenic acid, which is vitamin B5, pioneered the concept of biochemical individuality. His research showed that nutrient requirements vary dramatically between individuals based on genetics, stress levels, toxic exposure, and existing health conditions. People with compromised pancreatic function have significantly higher nutrient requirements than healthy individuals. Simply meeting the recommended daily allowance is inadequate for healing. They need therapeutic doses of specific nutrients targeted to pancreatic restoration. A woman named Sandra had chronic pancreatitis and was told by her gastroenterologist that there was no cure, only symptom management. She began taking high-dose B-complex vitamins, zinc, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids while simultaneously improving her diet. Within 3 months, her abdominal pain had reduced by 70%. Within 6 months, her pancreatic enzyme levels on blood tests had improved measurably. Her doctor was surprised, but cautioned her not to get her hopes up. 2 years later, Sandra remains symptom-free and her pancreatic function tests show continued improvement. The nutrients gave her pancreas the raw materials it needed to repair and regenerate. The acid-alkaline balance that determines pancreatic survival. The third pillar addresses the proper acid-alkaline balance. The pancreas and liver are alkaline glands. Certain diets create an unnatural switch to whole-body acidity, metabolic acidosis. That is harmful for pancreatic health and the entire digestive system, as well as the whole body. Acidity kills the pancreas. This is perhaps the most critical yet most ignored aspect of pancreatic health. Your body maintains a tightly controlled blood pH around 7.4, slightly alkaline. But the tissues, cells, and organs can become acidic even when blood pH remains normal. This tissue acidosis disrupts enzyme function, impairs cellular metabolism, promotes inflammation, and accelerates organ damage. The modern diet is profoundly acid-forming. Animal proteins, dairy products, grains, sugar, processed foods, coffee, and alcohol all generate acid that must be neutralized by alkaline minerals. When dietary acid load exceeds the body's buffering capacity, chronic metabolic acidosis develops. The pancreas is particularly vulnerable because pancreatic enzymes require an alkaline environment in the duodenum to activate and function. When the body is acidic, pancreatic juice cannot adequately alkalize the duodenum. Enzymes remain inactive and digestion fails. Dr. Linda Frassetto from the University of California, San Francisco, has researched acid-base balance extensively. Her studies showed that the typical Western diet creates chronic, low-grade metabolic acidosis that accelerates bone loss, muscle wasting, kidney stone formation, and organ dysfunction. She documented that even small shifts toward alkaline-forming foods produce measurable improvements in metabolic health markers. A man named Paul had suffered from GERD for 15 years and taken proton pump inhibitors daily. Despite medication, he experienced frequent heartburn, regurgitation, and throat irritation. His doctor recommended surgery to tighten his lower esophageal sphincter. Before consenting to surgery, Paul consulted with a practitioner trained in the Melamed approach. pH testing revealed his urine pH was consistently below 5.5, indicating severe metabolic acidosis. His diet was heavy in meat, cheese, bread, and coffee. He began eating alkaline-forming foods, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and mineral water. He reduced acid-forming foods dramatically. Within 2 weeks, his heartburn frequency dropped. Within 2 months, he no longer needed daily PP. Within 6 months, he was completely off all reflux medication and symptom-free. His GERD had never been about too much stomach acid. It had always been about whole-body acidity, preventing his pancreas and digestive system from functioning properly. The microbiome and proper intestinal ecology. The fourth pillar focuses on maintaining proper ecology inside the gastrointestinal tract. Your gut contains trillions of microorganisms that profoundly influence pancreatic health. Beneficial bacteria produce vitamins, support immune function, crowd out pathogens, and even influence pancreatic enzyme production. When harmful bacteria, yeast, or parasites dominate, they produce toxins that damage pancreatic tissue, trigger inflammation, and impair enzyme function. The modern epidemic of intestinal dysbiosis, including candida, yeast, overgrowth, and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, is directly linked to the pandemic of digestive disorders. Dr. Alessio Fasano from Massachusetts General Hospital has pioneered research on intestinal permeability and its role in systemic disease. His work shows that dysbiosis damages the intestinal barrier, allowing toxins, undigested food particles, and bacteria to enter the bloodstream. This triggers systemic inflammation that affects every organ, including the pancreas. He documented that restoring gut barrier integrity through probiotics, prebiotics, and elimination of inflammatory foods reduces systemic inflammation and improves organ function throughout the body. A woman named Michelle had been diagnosed with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth after years of unexplained bloating, diarrhea, and malabsorption. Her doctor prescribed antibiotics, which provided temporary relief, but symptoms always returned. She implemented the intestinal ecology pillar from Part 2, fermented foods daily, prebiotic fibers from vegetables, elimination of sugar and refined carbohydrates that feed harmful bacteria, and high-quality probiotics. She also addressed the other 3 pillars simultaneously. Within 4 months, her SIBO symptoms resolved completely. Follow-up breath testing showed her bacterial overgrowth had been eradicated. More importantly, her pancreatic function markers improved significantly because the toxic burden from gut-derived compounds was eliminated. What to eat, when to eat, and how to eat it. The book emphasizes that what to eat is as important as when to eat and how to eat. Timing matters because your digestive system operates on circadian rhythms. Enzyme production, stomach acid secretion, and intestinal motility all follow daily cycles. Eating heavy meals late at night when digestive function is naturally lower forces your pancreas to work when it should be resting and repairing. How you eat matters because rushed eating, inadequate chewing, eating while stressed, and consuming cold beverages with meals all impair digestion regardless of food quality. Drinking ice water with meals, a common American habit, literally freezes digestive enzyme activity. The enzymes require body temperature to function optimally. Cold fluids lower stomach temperature, slowing enzyme activity and prolonging digestion time. Dr. Mark David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, has studied how eating behaviors affect digestion and metabolism. His research shows that stress hormones shut down digestive function. When you eat while anxious, angry, or rushed, your body diverts blood flow away from the digestive organs to muscles for fight-or-flight response. Food sits in your stomach undigested, fermenting and creating toxins. Simply eating the same meal in a relaxed state versus a stressed state produces dramatically different digestive outcomes. A man named Gregory worked in a high-stress sales job. He ate lunch at his desk while answering emails and taking calls. He always experienced bloating, gas, and afternoon fatigue. His colleagues suggested he take 30 minutes away from his desk, sit in a park, and eat mindfully without distractions. Gregory was skeptical but desperate. The first day he tried this, he noticed a difference. His food settled better. The afternoon bloating was less severe. After 2 weeks of this practice, his digestive symptoms had improved 50% despite eating the exact same foods. His nervous system was no longer sabotaging his digestion. Water as the best friend of the pancreas. The book emphasizes that water is the best friend of the pancreas. But not just any water. The quality, mineral content, and temperature of water profoundly affect pancreatic function. European doctors have used healing mineral water from Karlovy Vary thermal spring for hundreds of years to treat pancreatic disorders. This water increases the amount and quality of pancreatic juice produced while creating an alkaline environment in the small intestine where pancreatic enzymes work best. The mineral water contains bicarbonates, magnesium, calcium, and other minerals that directly support pancreatic function. Since 1764. People who cannot travel to the Czech Republic have been able to purchase genuine Karlovy Vary thermal spring salt. Dissolve it in water at home and obtain the same healing benefits. Millions of people have improved their health by drinking mineral water from the Karlovy Vary thermal spring. This is not pseudoscience or marketing hype. This is documented clinical experience spanning centuries. European medical journals contain hundreds of studies on the therapeutic effects of this specific mineral water for digestive and pancreatic disorders. Dr. Vaclav Skliovsky, a Czech physician who has studied Karlovy Vary mineral water for decades, documented that patients with chronic pancreatitis who drink this mineral water experience reduced pain, improved enzyme production, and better nutritional status compared to control groups receiving standard treatment alone. The minerals directly nourish the pancreas, while the alkaline pH neutralizes metabolic acids that damage the organ. A woman named Barbara had been suffering from chronic pancreatitis for 8 years. She experienced constant dull pain in her upper abdomen, frequent diarrhea, and had lost 30 pounds despite eating. Her gastroenterologist managed her symptoms with pain medication and pancreatic enzyme supplements, but offered no hope for improvement. Barbara discovered the Karlovy Vary mineral water approach through an Eastern European friend whose grandmother had used it successfully. She ordered genuine thermal spring salt online and began drinking the mineral water as directed. Within 2 weeks, her pain began diminishing. Within 2 months, her bowel movements normalized. Within 6 months, she had gained back 15 pounds and her energy had returned. Annual follow-up testing showed her pancreatic enzyme levels had improved measurably. The mineral water had provided her pancreas with exactly what it needed to heal: alkaline minerals, proper hydration, and compounds that stimulate healthy enzyme production. The 3 stages and their specific healing food requirements. Pancreatic deficiency, like all disorders, has three stages: functional, structural, and failure. 3 stages of pancreatic deficiency require different healing foods. In the functional stage, when enzyme production is reduced but the organ structure remains intact. Aggressive dietary intervention can restore full function. Raw foods, sprouted grains, fermented vegetables, fresh juices, and enzyme-rich smoothies provide maximum support. In the structural stage, when inflammation has caused tissue damage and scarring, gentler approaches are needed. The pancreas is inflamed and irritated. Raw foods and aggressive cleansing can worsen symptoms. Cooked vegetables, well-chewed soft foods, and easily digestible proteins provide nutrition without overtaxing the damaged organ. In the failure stage, when extensive pancreatic tissue has been destroyed, lifetime enzyme replacement is necessary. But even at this stage, healing foods that reduce inflammation, provide alkaline minerals, and support remaining pancreatic function can improve quality of life and slow further deterioration. Dr. Helmut Winkler, a German gastroenterologist who specializes in pancreatic disorders, has documented that stage-appropriate nutritional therapy dramatically affects outcomes. His clinical data shows that patients who receive dietary recommendations tailored to their THT, to their specific stage of pancreatic dysfunction, experience better symptom control, slower disease progression, and fewer complications compared to patients receiving generic dietary advice. A man named Victor was diagnosed with chronic pancreatitis at the structural stage. His first naturopath recommended an aggressive raw food cleanse with fresh vegetable juices. Victor tried this approach and his symptoms worsened dramatically. His pain intensified and he lost more weight. He felt defeated, thinking natural approaches did not work for him. Then he found a practitioner familiar with the Malamed approach who explained that his inflamed pancreas could not handle aggressive raw food protocols. He needed gentler, cooked foods until inflammation reduced. Victor switched to steamed vegetables, well-cooked grains, and easily digestible proteins. His symptoms stabilized within weeks. As his inflammation gradually reduced over months, he slowly introduced more raw foods. Understanding the stage of his condition and matching his diet to that stage made the difference between success and failure. Taking action with healing foods today. The central message of Healthy Pancreas, Healthy You Part 2 is empowerment through knowledge and action. Millions of people feel continually tired, have chronic diseases, and age prematurely. Many suffer needlessly because they do not understand that their symptoms stem from poor pancreatic function. Even worse, they do not know that pancreatic function can be improved, and in many cases, completely restored through strategic use of healing foods. This is not about deprivation. This is not about eating boring, tasteless meals. This is about understanding the principles that support pancreatic health and applying them consistently. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. Small daily choices compound over time into dramatic health transformations. The 4 pillars work synergistically. Eating raw enzyme-rich foods without addressing acidity will produce limited results. Restoring intestinal ecology while continuing to eat acid-forming foods will be frustrating. Drinking healing mineral water while eating processed foods and not chewing properly wastes the water. But when you address all 4 pillars simultaneously, magic happens. Your pancreas begins receiving everything it needs to heal. Digestive enzymes from food that reduce its workload. Minerals and nutrients that provide building blocks for repair. An alkaline environment that allows enzymes to function. And a healthy gut microbiome that stops producing toxins. The synergy creates results far greater than the sum of individual interventions. Do not dig your grave with your knife and fork. Every meal is an opportunity to either harm or heal your pancreas. The choice is yours. Start with 1 pillar today. Add proper chewing to every meal this week. Next week, increase raw foods in your diet. The following week, focus on alkaline-forming foods. Build gradually but consistently. Your pancreas has been silently suffering. working harder every day to keep you alive despite the challenges you unknowingly placed on it. It is time to give back. It is time to nourish and support the organ that makes digestion and metabolism possible. Your pancreas can heal. Healing foods provide the path. Thank you for watching this summary of Healthy Pancreas, Healthy You Part 2 by Peter Mellemt, PhD, and Felix Mellemt, MS. If this information has opened your eyes to the healing power of food for pancreatic health, please subscribe to our channel for more evidence-based book summaries that can transform your life. Visit our channel for complete, detailed breakdowns of Part 1 covering pancreatic structure and disorders, and Part 3 explaining comprehensive treatment approaches, including herbs, acupuncture, and supplementation. Your pancreas is waiting for the healing foods it needs. Start feeding it today.